there, my mate Vince here. Pause the video right now, go make yourself a nice tea, coffee, or get yourself whatever you fancy, and sit back, relax, take a bit of time out of your day and watch this repair. Let's get started. It's turning on, but it's just not reading any discs. So when I put a disc in, it spins for, it looks like a few seconds, and stops. So I've tried it with a game and also a CD. Now if you have a look there, you can see it says 25 here, there's a little CD in it at the moment. When I close the lid, and if I open it up straight away, you see it is spinning, not particularly fast, but if I was just to leave it for about 30 seconds, then it's not working. So yeah, there you go, you can see it's not doing anything there, and it's exactly the same when I put a game in. So let's take it apart and let's see if we can find out what's wrong with it. And it doesn't matter if I reset it and stuff, it just keeps coming up with this screen here. You can see it's not spinning. Alright, so here we go. We've got a load of screws around the back. I can see that this has already been quite badly chewed up here. Right, what I'm just wondering is, how does it know that a CD is in here? Where's the thing that gets pressed? Oh, here we go. It must be this thing here. So what is that? Yeah, so it must be this button here. So if I was to turn it on now and press this down, we should see that spinning to see what it does. Let's have a little look at the back here. Right, we've got a little switch here to indicate end of travel. So I suppose before we do any, let's unplug it from here for a moment. Let's test out these little switches just to make sure they are working, just in case there's a faulty switch. All looks certainly very clean, doesn't it? Right, there's 4 contacts underneath the switch here, so I'm assuming that they're going to be where I can do the testing. So let's get my meter, put it onto continuity. So when I hit the leads together, it will go off. So let's have a look first of all. So we've got continuity there and there, but not between the pins. So if I go between these 2 pins here and press the button, we should get something, which we do. Yeah, and it's not going off. Right, let's try the other side. Right, so I'm happy that that switch is definitely working. Right, let's just try this end of travel switch here. I'm thinking it's going to be these 2 big prongs here. Nothing, and something. Right, so I don't think it's anything to do with those switches. And I'm just going to check for continuity just along this cable here, just to make sure that we've got it going from one side to the other. Oh, actually those first 2 are shorting, but maybe they're supposed to. Okay, we'll check that at the end by unplugging the cable. Yeah, and the last 2 are shorting, so I presume they're supposed to do that. So now if we unplug this one, yeah, the short's gone away now. So it's going to be shorting on here. Yeah. Right, I presume that's going to be normal. So the only thing I'm wondering is, I wonder whether it could be a bit seized up here and it's struggling to make the laser go left and right. Well, I mean, to me that feels very smooth. I don't think there's a problem with that. Right, let's just temporarily put it back together, put power into it, make sure we don't look at the laser, and let's see if anything's going to happen. Right, ribbon cable looks nice. It looks like that's the potentiometer to change the power going into the laser. Right, let's see what it does now. So I'm going to keep my finger on here. Right, so that moved in. It's given 2 spins there. It definitely moved in though, didn't it? Like, it moved in nice and quick. Right, let's pop a disc in. So I suppose when the laser doesn't see the disc, it just cuts out immediately, because it's exactly the same as just having the lid closed without the disc. So now let's see what it does. So it gives 2 little pulses and then stops. That says to me, the very fact that the laser's moving in and out, that says to me that the sled thing is okay. It didn't seem particularly noisy. I think maybe the laser's burnt out. So let's swap the whole assembly over. If it starts working, we can start to pinpoint it further. Maybe I could even mess around with a potentiometer just to see if we can get it to work. But again, if just like everything else, if the laser's burning out, then doing that, I'm sure it's not going to last for very long. I think what's happening is it's not recognising the disc, so it's exactly the same as me just doing this here now. So 1, 2, and then it stops. So whether a disc is in it or not, it's doing the same thing. So that to me pinpoints a laser. Alright, so we've got the good laser, bad board, bad cable. The only difference is this whole assembly here has been swapped. So let's now see if it is doing the different than before. So hold that down, press the button. Yeah, it sounds different already, doesn't it? There you go. Right, so 100% then, we know something on here is not right. So let's stop that. And let's dismantle it further to find out what it is on here which is not right. So we know it's not the cable, which we proved already by just doing a test with the multimeter. Let's see if we can actually swap the laser out. So I started to dismantle it, but as I was doing it I realised that there's loads of things that are glued in place and also soldered in place. So it doesn't look like it's made to be dismantled. At this moment in time I don't know if it's the sled motor that's faulty, the spindle motor that's faulty, or the actual laser itself. I'm guessing it is the laser, but I kind of wanted to prove it. But you can't separate these parts out, not easily. So it made me think that maybe it comes from the manufacturer as a complete unit. And sure enough, if you look at this eBay listing down here now, you can see that it does come as a complete unit. That is how it is sold. $12.99, so not really too expensive, but remember these PlayStation 1s are not really worth a huge amount more than that. So yeah, that's a little bit of a shame, because I kind of wanted to just pinpoint it down to make sure it was definitely the laser. But that's not going to happen here, because I'm not going to unsolder everything and risk breaking this one here. So what I'm going to do is, let's see if there's any way we can get this working. 100% this needs to be replaced, and you can see how easy it is to replace. So spend $12.99, you've only got under 6 screws, and then it's a really easy job to do. But let's just mess around with this potentiometer down here, just to see if we can put maybe more power into the laser, just to get it to work. Also, I'm just going to clean this with a little bit of IPA. It looks perfectly clean. I'm sure it's not going to make a difference, but I'll do it just on the very slim chance it might make a difference. So I'm going to put this one back together, and we'll get a reading of this one, and then see if it's any bit similar to the other one. Not that that's really going to prove anything, because they could have well been different from the very beginning. So I dipped a little Q-tip, a cotton bud, in some isopropyl alcohol, and I cleaned the laser. It made no difference whatsoever. Then I started messing around with the potentiometer. Now both the good laser and the faulty laser were testing very similar. They were both just over 1,000 ohms, so 1 kilo ohm. And then what I did is I started to adjust the faulty laser, because there was no point in messing with the good laser. I put less resistance into the faulty laser. So I reduced it down to 900 and something ohms, and then I think it was 800 and something ohms. I went right the way down. I think it was to 400 or 500 ohms. So that was like half what it was before, and it still didn't make any difference. And just in case it was tweaked previously, I then actually put it up to about 1200 ohms, and it still didn't make a difference. So I'm certain that this laser is completely burnt out. So I messed around with it purely just to see if I could get it working for the purpose of the video, and I couldn't. So then I put the working laser back into this one here, just to finish up the video, to show that it is now working when it wasn't working before. Is it a fix? It's a fix in the regards of the thing wasn't working and now is working, but it is a replacement, isn't it? But you can't always repair things. Things like a laser, which is a little diode, will eventually wear out. So yeah, it's just a case of now putting it all back together and testing it on the TV to make sure a game is now working. So that is it for this video. A very easy repair to do, just 6 screws, and you can undo the rest of the ribbon cables with your fingers. So $12.99, and hopefully your PlayStation 1 will be fixed if you suspect it is a faulty laser. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye now.